Ralph Richards, and I'm here today with Bill Skinner to present the history of Alcyon Speedway. I'm an historian on Alcyon Speedway and co-author of the book Images of America, Pitman, New Jersey. Bill Skinner is a historian and statistician on East Coast racing. We would like to thank Grover Productions in Pitman, New Jersey for the opportunity to relive our childhood. So sit back and enjoy over 1 hour of Alcyon Speedway memories. The history of Alcyon Speedway began in 1895 when a new bicycle track was so well constructed that the wheelmen pronounced it one of the best in the country. It cost several $1,000s and no pains were spared to make it a fine one. October 22nd, 1910, this trophy was presented to Robert M. Fisher by the Pennsylvania Motorcycle and Auto Club of Philadelphia for promoting the day's events. A trophy from 1911 was presented to Mr. Fulton for winning a 5-mile auto race at the Alcyon Park Autodrome. As the cars became faster, the tight turns of the 1/3 mile track became a hazard to the drivers. In 1913, the track was enlarged to a 1/2 mile dogleg shaped dirt oval. The unique shape was a result of the inability to expand the ends of the track due to the restrictions of private property. This aerial view, taken by Joe Klein in the early 1950s, shows this now classic D-shaped design. To the left are the orchards, and to the right is the parking lot owned and operated by the Pitman Fire Patrol. It is Men's Day in 1916 at Alcyon Park. Mr. Green from Salem, New Jersey is driving a Ford, and Mr. Stratton from Mullica Hill, New Jersey driving the Mercer. Most of the early races held at Alcyon were match races, pitting one car against the other. This day, Mr. Green was victorious. Preparing the track for the day's races included watering to minimize the dust. Halsey Cheeseman, a distant relative, is shown riding the horse-drawn wagon in this 1927 photo. Horse racing was popular at Alcyon from the early 1900s into the late 1930s. I have only been able to document harness racing at the Alcyon track. May 30th, 1935. A horse named Folio, owned by David Schock from Elma, New Jersey, posed for this photo in front of the Visit Alcyon Park sign in the background. Alcyon Track and Sports Incorporated was formed in 1935 to promote various events which included wrestling, harness racing, baseball, football, and auto midgets. A historic postcard illustrates horse racing at Alcyon Park. Postmarked July 13, 1914, it was mailed to Wilmington, Delaware from Pitman. Here are 3 programs from the 1935 harness race season. Opening day was Memorial Day weekend and 5 big races filled the card. The Gloucester County Grange Fair was held at Alcyon Park for 36 years and harness racing was the main attraction. This official race program is from the August 17th race date. In 1935, a $10,000 state-of-the-art General Electric lighting system was installed at the track for baseball. The first harness race held under the lights in South Jersey was at Alcyon Park on September 9th. Baseball was a popular attraction at Alcyon Track. The baseball diamond was located in the track infield. The Alcyon All-Stars baseball team played many nationally recognized teams. Some other opponents included the House of David, a Jewish all-star team pictured here, Connie Mack's Philadelphia Athletics, and Negro League teams, the Pittsburgh Crawfords, the Philadelphia All-Stars, the New York Black Yankees, the New York Cubans, and the Detroit Clowns. With the end of the war, harness racing began to fade and auto racing became even more popular. One of the early pioneers was Crocky Wright from Philadelphia. This photo and video are both from August 28, 1946, showing Crocky on the track at Alcyon. In the early years, driver safety was not a big concern, as this film shows. A driving helmet and a t-shirt was the uniform of the day. Notice there were no roll cages and the drivers did not use a seatbelt. With speeds of 50 to 60 miles an hour, many of the drivers did not survive the accidents in the early years of midget and sprint car racing. As you can see, the fans were allowed up to the edge of the track and the fencing was left over from the harness racing era. It was not long until Alcyon Speedway became an innovator of auto racing safety. Some of the innovations introduced at Alcyon were flagmen, guardrails, and caution lights. Many of the souvenirs bought at the concession stand did not survive. This pennant is an example of a souvenir that was sold during the sprint car races. Bill Vail, Mr. Robeson, and crew ready their car for an upcoming race. July 4th, 1946. A crowded grandstand shows the enormous popularity of Alcyon Speedway. Bill Vail, the promoter, is seated among the race fans enjoying the fruits of his labor. July 4th, 1946. Big car feature race at Alcyon Speedway shows the start on the track as the cars roar past and into the first turn. Sprint cars, they were known as big cars in this time period, usually came to Alcyon on the summer holidays, and by the crowd seen here, they were very popular. This side lot of a repair shop on Broad Street in Paulsboro, New Jersey is full of wrecked sprint cars and midgets waiting to be stripped of usable parts to repair someone's car. The popularity of the sport made saving wrecks a profitable venture. This 75-cent motorcycle polo ticket from October 26, 1947 shows the Lucky Roamers from Clayton, New Jersey riding against the Electric City Riders. This demonstrates the variety of events held at the track. August 13th, 1948 midget program showing a AAA sanctioned auto race. Art Gautier in the number 1 from Westchester was the winner. Number 96 Red Redmond from Atlanta, Georgia came in second, and number 71 Lucky Lux out of Lebanon, Pennsylvania came in third. Number 1, Art Gautier, and number 8, Carl Miller, lead the pack into the first turn in the midget feature race on August 13, 1948.
Labor Day, September 7th, 1953. Alcyon's program that day was stock cars and big cars, or sprint cars. In action this day, you'll see one of Alcyon's most popular drivers, Jackie McLaughlin, in the yellow number 12. Jack was a very, very capable stock car driver and big car driver, and he wins the feature this day in number 12, Jackie McLaughlin. time for the stock cars at Alcyon. A view of the front straightaway. And the spin out. Looks as if things were a little dry and the cars were not handling especially well that day. There's our winner, Ed Lindsay.
April 1953 racing program printed by Atlantic City Publishing for the first one half of the year. This by far the most colorful program at Alcyon. The same program was used at other tracks by changing the name in the red circle. Review printing of Pitman, New Jersey printed this September 4th, 1953 program. This local company printed the remaining programs through 1959. I am unaware of any programs being printed for the 1960 racing season. I was amazed when I opened this 1959 opening day program to find photographs of two of stock cars' greatest drivers inside. New York drivers Kenny Shoemaker and Pete Corey had raced at Alcyon in 1958. Pete won a heat race on the last race date in 1958, and Kenny won the consolation race the same day. I remember the Maryland and Delaware drivers towing to Pitman, but I do not recall the New York guys driving 6 hours to race here. That is why documenting the history is so important to our sport. Thrill shows were very popular at Alcyon Speedway. B. Ward Beam, Lucky Teeter, Lucky Lee Crosby, and Joey Chitwood were some of the more famous ones to appear. This photograph, taken behind the Alcyon grandstand, shows the Joey Chitwood gang during one of their visits. Lucky Teeter signed this photograph to Alcyon finance officer Tom Sawyer. It shows Lucky attempting to jump a Wood Company bus in August of 1941. He came up short and returned in October that same year to successfully complete the jump. Lucky Teeter lost his life performing the same jump in July 6, 1942 in Indianapolis, Indiana. Frank Mundy was the August 15, 1949 feature winner and lost to Chick D. Natale of Trenton, New Jersey in a close race the following week. June 30th, 1950, Fireball Roberts and Chick D. Natale nearly came to blows after a lap 16th accident brought an end to the night's feature race. After much debate, the two drivers split the winning purse. Haddonfield, New Jersey's Mike McGill is presented the 1951 Modified Championship Trophy by promoter Bill Vail. Mike went on to race at the Indianapolis 500 in the late 1950s. Johnny Carp in the Beach Brothers No. 1 General Sherman and Lou Mood in the No. 29 Richel's Body Shop sponsored car raced towards the fifth turn at Alcyon Speedway. '53 Alcyon Speedway Modified Champion Steve Elias holds his trophy with PR man Bud Emery by his side. Otto Harwey, the 1956 Modified Champion, with his number 999 Coupe. In the early years, chains and belts were used to secure the doors as seen in this photo. Red Byron was another of the NASCAR drivers to make the trip north to race at Alcyon Speedway in the early 1950s. May 31st, 1954, the URC show. Number 48, Mike Sanfleece in the Ella Robbins McDowell. On the outside is George Matthews in the 52. Number 5 is Teen Yanigan. Number 21, Dick Fletcher, jumps the inside fence and lands in the infield. Here's the feature action for that day. Number 5, Steve Yanigan. Number 8, Bob Cooney. Number 44, Buddy Powers. Number 4, Charlie Miller. Red number 2, Mike McGill. Number 6, Tony Rommett. Carl Becker's in the blue and red, number 7. Number 99, the white car is Mel Widener. 98, Lucky Lux. Number 4 is Bert Brooks. The finish this day was Mike McGill, Yanigan, Brooks, Cooney, Widener, Olson, Beckers, and Lucky Lux, with McGill the winner, his last URC race. And there goes Mike McGill, the winner, with the checkered flag. Winner of the race of the film just seen, Mike McGill autographed this photo for me at a recent Alcyon Speedway reunion.
July 4th, 1953, the stock cars. Number 160 there was Jimmy Marks from Bridgeton, New Jersey. Number 29, flying the Jolly Roger flag, is Lou Mood. Entering the pits is the Lucky Jordan Deuce, driven this day by Al Tasnady. And now we have the Jordan number 3. The Jordan Deuce with Tasnady. Looks like this is time trials. Tasnady's kind of high coming out of the 5th turn. The number 66, driven by Bill Dean. Some action in the first turn. Looks like we lost about 3 cars in that particular incident.
This poster is a replica of the original posters that were placed on buildings and telephone poles to promote Alcyon Speedway. In the upper left-hand corner is the NASCAR logo, as Alcyon was a NASCAR track from 1955 until it closed in 1960. (1955) Pitman Hobo Band Night at Alcyon Speedway. The band is shown with winning driver Jackie McLaughlin in the checkered shirt and car owner Lucky Jordan to his left. The pair went on to win the Alcyon Speedway Modified Championship that year.
Pitman Fire Department truck. Young Barbara Hitman, the daughter of David Hitman, who owned K&H Auto Parts in Pitman, New Jersey. Sprint cars on the track at the moment. Vintage 1953 to 1955. Stock cars, vintage 1953 or 54. And there's a race that we can definitely identify, which is lining up at this particular moment. It's the consolation race from the 4th of July program, 1954. You'll see 77 Wild Bill Smith starting in second position. 33 Al Graber starts third. Stan Schill in the 18 is fourth. Fifth starting spot is number 98 Jimmy Marks. And in the eighth starting spot, number 69 of Jack McLaughlin. The winner of this race will be Jimmy Marks in the 98, and in a close second on the outside will be Jack McLaughlin in the 69. Members of the Pitman Fire Patrol, and young Barbara Hitman on another day. This is the feature event, the July 4th program 1954. A race that will be won by the number 88 of Freddie Fair. You can see the 77 of Wild Bill Smith there and the 50 of Dave Watson. The 72 of Bill Hill, the 2 of Altaz Nady. Freddie Fair in the 88, 33 is Dan Mondix, the 24 of Ed Soden. Tasnady in the deuce. Freddie Fair in the 88 is catching up to him. It's the sprint cars again. They were at Alcyon both on the Labor Day program of 1954 and again on Memorial Day 1955.
September 20th, 1957, track officials left to right, flagmen Harry and Roy Batchelor, announcer Bill Gregory, Bill Vale's right-hand man Bud Emery, who wrote the informative Around the Alcyon Oval column weekly in the program under the pen name 5 Turns, promoter Bill Vale, and radio station WPEN celebrity Matt Gukas display their awards presented in appreciation of their work for the track. 1955. Number 29, Lou Mood, the Flying Farmer from Mullica Hill, New Jersey. 1955, number 98, Chick D. Natale, who along with his brother Rocky later promoted races in South Jersey.
Memorial Day 1956 and the 29 of Lou Mood. 251 is Blackie Ryder, the 2 is Don Stump. Lou Mood will win the second heat race that day. the 999 of Otto Harway, the 41 of Tommy Elliott, 141 is Reds Cagle, 123 Bill McCarthy, the 88 Ralph Smith, the 46A Glenn Guthrie, and now the 11 of Ed Lindsay. The 88 of Ken Wismer following an accident. And an engine fire on the back stretch. The number 99 driven by Joe Chester that day. The winner will be the 88 of Ralph Smith.
1956, number 3, Pete Corey, towed 6 hours one way from upstate New York to race at the track. Number 18, Deptford, New Jersey, Stanley Schill's 1956 car was kept in Crescent Park, New Jersey behind Ponzio's Diner. In 1956, Sonny Dornberger with the number 999 driven by Otto Harway shown at his South Jersey Speed Sports shop. Number 19, Bill Popcorn Lewis. He not only towed his car, but also brought the popcorn stand for which his family operated for years at the track.
Another view of the Memorial Day race 1956, this time shot from the infield. The number 50 is Irv Taylor, the number 580 Jackie Hart. The number 11, Ed Lindsay. The 88 of Ken Wismer. Number 41 is Tommy Elliott. The 999 of Otto Harway and the 2 of Don Stump. '42 is Dean Pelton. Otto being closely pursued there by Don Stump. being pursued by 46A Glenn Guthrie, who will pass each of them. Now Reds Cagle in the 141 enters the picture. He will pass Guthrie for the lead.
Number 141, Reds Cagle, was one of the drivers from the Maryland-Delaware area that towed weekly to race at Alcyon. May 24th, 1957, feature winner Ralph Smith. Ralph was Alcyon's modified champion that year. Jack Hart's number 580 down the embankment off of the second turn. Jack was the sportsman champion at Alcyon.
The 026 of Jackie McLaughlin, sitting in front of the home of the car owner, Pete Ambrosia. This footage was shot Memorial Day 1957, as you see the 026 enter the pit area at Alcyon. The Lucky Jordan Deuce, driven by Bud Olson that day. Some footage during the warm-ups shot from inside the first turn. The number 659, owned by Tom Skinner, Hamilton, New Jersey, driven that day by Sal Moschella of Pleasantville. It's now the 4th of July, 1957. This footage will feature Jackie McLaughlin there, shown there in 300. It looks like the start of the first feature that afternoon of July the 4th, 1957. Feature that will be won by the number 118 of Glenn Guthrie. The starting lineup that day and cars that you can possibly identify in this video are the 48 of Ace Canop, 27 Vince Conrad, 29 Lou Mood, 95 Bill Wilson, 2 Don Stump, 026 Bob Becker, 118 Glenn Guthrie, 56W Steve Elias, 104X Ed Lindsay, the 46 of Pee Wee Poblitz, the 88 of Ralph Smith, 98 Ken Marriott, 44 Al Tasnady, 141 Reds Cagle, the 300 of Jackie McLaughlin, the Deuce of Bud Olson, 717 Elton Hildreth, 16J Larry Voss, the 90 of Ray Cable, the 320
May 19th, 1958. Feature winner Glenn Guthrie, another driver from the Baltimore area, and the 1959 modified champion, is shown in his finest driving uniform.
This next video is from Labor Day 1957. The number 99 there is Galen Griffith. This race will be won by Ken Marriott. It was one of two features run that day. They were both won by Ken Marriott of Baltimore, Maryland, and there's Ken the winner in the 44.
September 26, 1958. Jackie McLaughlin in the 026 and Bob Malzahn in the Triple S in a photo finish. The photographer, Bob Sweeten, was told if the photo showed Jackie winning, destroy it, as Malzahn was given the win. You be the judge. A spectacular view of the crowded pits from the grandstands in 1958. Convertibles on the dirt at Alcyon. Perhaps Vineland promoter Bill Nocco brought these cars up to Pitman to stir up some interest in the Vineland track. August 8, 1958 motorcycle winner Harry Bigelow and runner-up Jim Johnson. This picture, as well as the picture before, shows Bill Vale's effort to bring family entertainment to Alcyon Speedway. In my estimation, 4 of the best drivers to race at Alcyon are shown in this photo. Number 026, Jackie McLaughlin, number 98, Bud Olson, number 2, Al Taznady, and number 118, Glenn Guthrie. Also, notice the crowded infield parking lot for this afternoon show. Dolly Derbies, September 18, 1959. For the first time, women raced at Alcyon. Left to right are Gail Garrison, Helen Camp, Floss Ashman, and scorekeeper Joe Mondes. (1960) Photo from the grandstand showing Bud Olson in the 98, Johnny Roberts in the 7, and Carl Van Horn in the 659. Number 19, X, Ed Little Abner Goki. Ed was the 1960 hobby champion at Alcyon. This is one of my favorite pictures taken at Alcyon Speedway in 1960. It shows the SSS of Bob Malzahn, the 9 of Vince Conrad, the 44 of Al Taznady, and the 111 of Jackie McLaughlin.
Memorial Day 1958. A nice scan of the pit area there. Many people like to park their cars in the pits and stand on the roof to watch the races. As you can see, there was a nice number of spectators and participants there that day. There's the 10A of Bill Wark. The 118 of Glenn Guthrie. The 98 of Bud Olson, 026 Jackie McLaughlin, the deuce of Al Taznady. Some more footage of that day. Jackie McLaughlin hobbling along there behind the Thunderbird. Jackie had a broken leg at that time. This particular feature will be won by Ed Lindsay in the 88. Back in the pit area again. That's Pete Ambrosia, the owner of the 026, and his wife Jerry. Lucky Jordan and his driver Al Tasnady. An advertisement for Pete Clark Auto Body of Glassboro, New Jersey, who's still in business. Ken Marriott. The 026. Jackie McLaughlin standing on crutches behind the 026. The number 46 of Pee Wee Poblitz, the 141 of Reds Cagle, the 210 driven by Bobby Becker, the 03 by Johnny Flake. Walt Tate, number 07. Jackie McLaughlin with his broken leg.
Pete Ambrosia at his Blackwood, New Jersey home. Jackie McLaughlin's pickup truck.
This looks like a new deuce under construction for Lucky Jordan. These pictures from the pit area after the races. You can clearly see that this holiday program was a family event at Alcyon. Here we see the 98 driven this Memorial Day by Bud Olson, and inside the car is young Doug Olson, who would be about 10 years old at that time.
Tom Skinner's number 659 car arriving at Alcyon Speedway. Trenton, New Jersey's driver Runt Harris is shown in Junie Dunleavy's car, number 90. This 1960 photo was autographed for me by Mr. Dunleavy in 1999. Convertible racing made a brief appearance at Alcyon Speedway in the late 1950s. I received this video from Lick Bowers of the Clayton Body Shop.